All right, guys, here we're talking about Season 2, Episode 1 of Pushing Daisies. So, the Pie Maker.
Go on.
Pie Maker has his like little world getting rocked here in the episode, where he has his true love is moving out, his employee is quitting.
Oh, it's a nice, yeah.
His Emerson is making a book.
All right, this is Season 2.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a recap in the beginning. There's a bunch of stuff happening. You visit all the characters. I feel like the people who made the show were like, listen, we introduced all these concepts in Season 1 that we've either abandoned or we've been ignoring or whatever. Let's just put them all in this episode. We got to have a pop-up book. We got to have bees. We got to have the ants. We got everything. Just put it all in here.
We know Emerson had a daughter.
Yeah.
And let's explain that a little bit more.
Pop-up book and daughter, right? Yeah.
I do like, and it's clearly alluded to, but this is the first time they really like shove it in your face. Where like, yes, Ned's mom died making a cake, baking a pie, and that's what made him be the pie maker. It's burned into his brain of like, this is what normal is. This is home. This is blah blah.
He wanted to go back to that time.
It's displayed nicely in this because they literally say it. Like it's not alluded to anymore.
Okay, sure.
His inner monologue is spoken by the narrator. And I liked it being stated because, like, you're assuming certain things, and you may have different rationales as to why he ended up at this mode. But I like how they went.
Now the entire recap. It's a long recap. Honestly, like, you don't have to watch the first season. I think you kind of get a handle on the whole thing or whatever. It would be less good to not watch the first season.
Well, yeah, first, and you'd end up with some weird stuff soon.
Yeah, but you know what's happening now, right? So. Very, very solid is the word that I want to use for this recap. Like you said, like, it ties together and explicitly I feel like someone took all these notes based on Season 1 and its reception and was like, great, shove it, like, get it all done and we're good, right? There's so much packed into this episode for all that character stuff, and they show you, like, he's wearing bells and they have close calls in their home and all that stuff, how they used to do all that. That's what they did at like, the restaurant some, and, like, we saw a little bit of that in Season 1. Yeah, like coming through, front, back, ending, beginning, whatever the words, code words. That's what people do, like in a kitchen, which is crazy. It's like, wow, you're doing the thing. We get to see again, yes, that's what happens, obviously, but now we physically saw it physically, right? All demonstrated for all these different things. So yeah, perfect.
This was a fun episode too.
And the episode's about bees.
Bees, which we have a hive upstairs that inexplicably died. Yeah. And I was
toxins.
I was expecting would they say like a rogue wave of pesticide.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's probably Pee Wee Herman or something.
Yes.
But it's not alluded to or explained that it was him. And it was just my gut impulse was I'm like, that motherfucker's fucking with her bees.
And once we're done with the recap, that's where it starts. You assume that that's going to be the plot. We have to figure out who killed these bees. There ain't no money in that. Okay. And they go through the whole and they have to go investigate that. But it's not. It's about killing some other bees.
That's what's
like, okay.
That's what's great about this show is that they can do something like that where it's like what? But it flows and it matches nicely. It's perfectly in their outlandish wheelhouse. And I was expecting though when she's dumping a hive full of bees on dead bees onto his body that are coming back to life, I thought you'd pop out to the next rooftop and there'd be Pee Wee Herman with a fucking like spyglass.
Exactly. See. Yeah, because they're doing it like right in public or whatever. This magic.
It's on a rooftop, but yes,
I know,
it is public enough.
It's a half-naked man having bees poured on him. What sick sexual fetish is this? Pee Wee Herman, watching it. Yeah, exactly.
But the episode gets more and more out like our outlandish death things have gone pretty high on the scale. But I would say this is the highest.
Or the hivest.
This is the hivest. This is the queen bee of bullshit. He has queen bee. It's French Stewart is his name, right?
Stewart.
And the one that plays the former like Miss Mary Bee or whatever. That girl is from what was it? Home Alone 4 with French Stewart, I believe.
Oh, maybe.
I think I actually had to Google. I'm like, is that his wife? Because I've seen them together. I thought before.
I was like, I know you, and she's in Galaxy Quest, and she's also like the Fraulein dodgeball player with the unibrow and like the weird teeth. So she's been all over the place, comedically acting and stuff. I thought she was great in this.
No, I didn't dislike her.
Like,
there was something weird about when they did the photos on hers, like like it was the new B girl and her B girl. Her picture was like a little pixelated or something. There was something weird about it where I was like, well, clearly the next one's better. They used a better camera.
Obviously, this one's years later.
And that girl's famous, the one that took over for her as the B person.
Oh, she was barely in it though. Yeah,
that's what threw me. Where I was like, oh, and I what was she in?
Nev Campbell.
She was like a kid star in something.
I didn't recognize her at all. Yeah, I'm old.
But she's in it so sparingly that you really wouldn't even catch her because
there's either
her talking lines are her covered in like bee stings.
I was gonna say she has like big pustules, or she has her like beekeeper weird eyelash outfit. Not beekeeper, bee representative.
Yeah,
bee girl.
She's an Avon lady for bees.
Beavon lady.
Yeah.
Yes. But that's the whole thing, right? Like much like we had the episode with like the competing dog people, right? This is a world all about like honey products, and this intrigue of like a hostile takeover and like a hive that like supposedly died, but she had smuggled the queen and like the like drones back to her house that is like infested with bees, like the movie Aliens. They're just giant hanging hives. When the key comes out, there's like honey dripping from it. It's
it would have taken decades to get a house to look like that, but however long she did it, it was fine.
Know. Yeah.
But French Stewart's idea is he has this little like capsule that holds the queen in his mouth.
Yep.
And then he wears the bees in a suit of armor, essentially.
Well, because the bees know the queen's in your mouth, and they just form a suit around you.
But then when he spits it at you, it signals the distress, and the bees swarm and attack and kill. That's so insane. It's wonderful.
Do you see any problem with this?
Well, aside from he's putting the queen in your how did he get the queen into that little capsule in the first place?
That's where they keep the queen.
But he puts that in his mouth. Never does he get stung.
No, the whole thing's absolutely crazy. And on top of it, the effect was visually horrible.
Oh, well, horrible or amazing?
Or amazing.
Because when they first show it, the bees are 1,000% encapsulating everything except the eyeballs.
Yeah.
So you're like, it's a bee man.
It's a bee. It's a man made of bees. It's a set of eyes and a brain floating around with bees.
Stated earlier as a possibility.
No. And like that, so like, I feel like that payoff alone is like enough of it. And like, again,
it's like a Boondock Saints thing.
And and like again, I'm not the one who's like, that effect was bad, therefore the whole thing is bad. I just want to call out that this effect was like unusually bad.
I wonder though if for like 2005 if it was unusually bad.
2005 was an unusually bad time.
Well, you got to think it, and then once removed, where it's not a movie effect, this is a 2005 TV show effect. I thought it's as good as the Pie Hole Restaurant, in my opinion.
No, and like it's fine. Like people used to watch plays, used to have to just believe that someone was flying. When
Believe.
You have to make sure that your belief. You have to suspend your disbelief in this sort of thing, and I get that, and that's fine. But
if you work hard, you get a good buzz, though.
I call out when things are unusually good. I want to call out this thing as being unusually bad. Just how it's used in the episode, how crucial it is, how then she has all the bees on her and all this stuff, right? I'm just watching it like, oh no, what's happening here? Yes. It did not ruin the episode for me whatsoever.
Do you love that he spits it at her and she catches it in her mouth?
Yeah.
And then with her bee wherewithal knows, don't move, don't freak out.
She's a bee expert.
Yeah.
He met his match. He didn't realize who he was messing with.
But like clearly you can move with the bees on you because he walked in the room covered in bees.
Yeah, makes no sense.
Seemingly, he would have had to have walked from the hive because where were the bees being kept?
Well, those are his bees, I think.
Yes, but they still have to
You're like, listen, yes, I know.
At your very best, they are like on his porch of his office or something. He has a beehive or something.
Sure.
Right? So he still had to walk like through the hallway, the like sneak up behind her, like
grab the candlestick, go to the mortuary,
the observatory.
I was what's the name of that room where you kill people in Clue? No, it makes no sense, but that's no different than anything else on this show.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that. Yes. No, like, I like to find out what it is, and it's something interesting where, like, one of the 4 very distinct wives poisoned the person, and that's how you find out. But, like, everyone had a motive, and everyone had the means, and everyone had the opportunity, everyone had the, way to do it or whatever. Well, he never drinks that coffee. Well, I never use that creamer. Well, I never do this. Well,
narrow it down.
And you have this weird, like, that I like. This where it's like, like besides the fact that it was a crazy bee man or whatever, maybe it's a man made of bees.
Yeah, it's slightly beyond belief, but who's to say?
Who is to say?
In this show, it's no more outlandish than a lot of other things. So I will.
No, like we've had like the super smellers, we've had like various other things, right? When I like stuff that comes to mind as my favorite.
The premise is a man who can bring things back to the dead with a touch. So really, what are you not going to accept?
I would have liked other magic things to happen. That would have been a good one or whatever, right?
We got some season left.
My favorite things are like the windmill episode and like the dog adoption episode. Certain stuff. There's a certain flair you can do it with that I feel like this didn't have as much of. But I still enjoyed this episode. Like I said, I liked What's-Her-Name. I liked French Stewart, right, in his role. It took me a second because he wasn't squinting. I know him mostly from Third Rock from the Sun, so I was like, wait a minute, is that French Stewart? And that's what got me on the whole IMDb.
Best line from Third Rock from the Sun involving French Stewart is he plays Harry, and he's like, I can do that with my eyes closed. And Tommy goes, you do everything with your eyes closed.
You do everything with your eyes closed. He's like, waiting for the audience to stop applauding and stuff.
And they never did. To this day.
Some say we're still laughing at that joke. Yeah, French Stewart was like, she's 37, which rounds to 40, which rounds to 50, which rounds to old, and all that stuff. And then What's-Her-Name comes in and is like, apparently I'm a withered hag, and all that stuff, like all those things. Loving all that. I'm loving the undercover thing, the stupid thing where Ned shows up and he double.
His plan was pretty good.
Yeah, I'm like, what the hell? And I'm like, okay, he's really good at this or whatever.
Yeah. I poisoned a man. When he called out sick, they called the temp agency. I called the temp agency, canceled the temp agency, and then I showed up.
The thing, yeah. And he's got the whole, and it's like the outlandishness of that on this type of show makes perfect sense, and I like it a lot.
Yeah.
I like those things happening.
No, he's a cunning bastard.
He is. Bee joke. Couldn't think of a bee pun there. Something with honey? I don't know.
You get more lies with honey than you do with bees. Genius. This episode has, I'd say, like the interesting stretch though of the bee stuff going into the olive stuff. So like the olive stuff, I was just
going to say there's a whole thread we haven't talked about for good reason.
So this might be the scariest thing I've ever seen in TV, is the idea that you go somewhere with all your possessions and then the homeless just take them all.
The poor come to take your things.
Do you understand how horrifying that would be? Picture you're moving and the movers just dropped all your stuff and didn't take it in the house, and you're like, all right, so
when does this?
And then people start taking your shit.
Yep.
Oh my God!
And like Mother Superior is like, "Oh yes, do you want this one? This one looks nice." And is handing them.
Are those the weirdest looking nuns you've ever seen too?
Yeah, they're like.
What the fuck are they like old biblical nuns or something?
This felt like someone somehow owns the rights to nuns, so they couldn't use real nuns. These nuns are wearing like weird green stuff instead of like black and white. I think
it's probably just because the show is so colorful that they did something else.
They picked a different thing.
These are like there's something. These are like Shakespearean nuns.
Yeah,
or
weird like not a bodice, whatever it's called.
Bonnet, I don't know what you'd call that
thing. Yeah, on their heads. Olive went to go be a nun. So we have a little like Sound of Music intro, which makes no sense and is crazy, and she's not actually, even though she can sing, she's not actually singing that, which is like whatever.
They probably couldn't get the rights.
Very awkward.
Or they're expensive.
It didn't seem like she was singing what was being played in the audio track of the episode, though. It didn't,
I didn't notice
sync up
that.
Or whatever. I'm not a stickler necessarily, but it was bad, so I also was like, wait a minute, what am I looking at? Then you realize that it's nuns. Then you realize that Aunt Lily's there, also undercover as a nun, because she used to be there to like give birth to Chuck a long time ago.
Yes, you find out that she also stole Chuck's dad away from their other aunt.
Exactly.
That's a tangled web they
weave. It's a tangled web, sir. Bee joke. I don't know. Insert a bee joke there. Do it in post. No, I don't. I don't know what this is all about. I'm not sure why this has to happen like this. When Olive quit, I kind of liked that, and I thought maybe Olive now is off the show for a little while, or something interesting happens. Maybe we get the guy that has all the potions coming back, something, whatever.
The tinctures.
The mytonics and tinctures. But the nun thing is kind of out of left field. I'm not sure. They construct this loose thing of like she's there to figure out her stuff and
what
why not.
What state
do
they live in? Where even is that?
Candy, fake.
The aunt like had never left the house up until like this episode, and now she's like fucking willy nilly leaving all the time.
Well, she got them out of the house.
Yeah, they say you break the seal, and you gotta go.
Once you've broken the seal, it just keeps flowing. No, so like it was a good like her quitting. The ants, busting in. I told her she wasn't dead, and then it cuts back, but like Chuck's dashed behind the thing, and Olive's there, and they think Olive's dead because Olive's been dodging them and not delivering pies. And Chuck's like, "What the hell?" and all that stuff. And
I'm gonna say something to you and your hump.
They do the thing. Like, I like that. That was fun.
I like this show in general.
But I don't know about the like her speech. No. I don't have a gun. I am a gun, and I'm about to unload on you, motherfucker. Like her whole dumb speech was good, but then her ending up in like the nunnery was like a weird thing.
Yeah, when the aunt's like, I know a place you can go. I assume she was moving in with them.
Exactly.
And I was like, oh, that'll be a fun source of like hokey dokies. But then this, I'm like, oh, all right. Well, let's see where that goes.
And there's a weird thing too, where the ants are now separated, and like the one is there, and now we have another secret like looming, waiting to see if the one ant finds out about the other.
When Olive found out, she's like, "You tell me another secret."
She literally like oh, she like winced in reaction. I was like, wait, what happened? And then she says that. I'm like, oh, okay. She's like, stop telling me secrets or whatever. Yeah. No, there's something there. I just don't know if I quite like exactly what happened.
And you realize that Olive is like far too good of a person, because like she literally destroyed her life to keep people's secrets.
Yeah.
And most humans would not do that.
Loyal to the end.
But the problem is she's loyal to like every direction. It's like a pentagram of loyalty.
That's why it drove her insane.
Yeah.
The poor came from my belongings. Yeah, we talked about the revelation, all that stuff.
That fucking shit. It's horrifying.
This side loads us into the whole thing of the apartment being free.
Yes.
She's moving in, right? We talked about that at the top of the episode.
It's paid for the year.
Which is
I wonder how much of the year is left.
Two days.
And they don't say that, but she moves in, and he gets all of her possessions from the aunt's house.
Yeah.
So that's also weird. Like, how do you even bridge that conversation? I know she said she wanted to get rid of some stuff.
And he said, "Hey, I know you don't have a car. You just take the bus, and you're old, and your sister wife is missing or whatever. So let's just, I'll take care of this for you.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Part of me loves how the books are stacked.
They didn't show it because it doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense now.
Yeah, with the books just like piled on each other. Yeah. No, I like that too. And I was like, wait a minute, what's happening here?
A good set.
It's
like that, just like a million books just stacked. Yeah. I've seen people do that with DVDs, and then I've also seen DVDs fall on a crazy tower of death.
Yeah, no one wants that.
No.
You want to wake up to a dead pile of DVDs. I like the idea that the apartment's now changing to fit Chuck, so it's not just going to be whatever.
Not just Olive's place.
Yeah.
Because they easily could have just left all Olive's possessions there. She's paid for a year.
I know.
But no, they got rid of everything she owned.
It's interesting. It makes no sense. But I like it. And when she's praying and she's like, God, I'm gonna set up a police report for all my belongings because this was a misunderstanding. Okay, please. All right, it's fine. And then like,
I need my jockeys or stable people pillow back.
It's amazing. No. Yeah. So maybe all of her jockey money is paying for that apartment for the whole year. She just pays yearly.
And I've never experienced a place that does this, but like maybe there are some buildings where it's cheaper to pay for the year. And honestly, if you have the money, I everything I can pay by the year, I pay by the year because it's just it's smarter.
Makes sense.
But I would need to know how much time is left on this apartment, and it could be a thing that you pay quarterly on hers.
I think they've done this abstract thing just to explain.
Yes, they have.
Why they don't need.
I have to rationalize it.
Okay, we have to dig deeper, right? We have to joke this.
Do you think she even gets money?
Who?
What's her face? Chuck. Like, does he pay her from pie money?
No, he's paying her with her ongoing life.
And while that is 100% fair, you think he has a like hostage? It's like, nah, Chuck, you gonna make that pie? I'm gonna touch you.
3 more pies, Chuck. 3 more pies. Yeah, there's a whole dark side of this show where it's this horrible thing. Yeah,
and it's not that she loves him; it's Stockholm syndrome.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm okay with all that.
It's the dark third season when all the actors and actresses unite.
You got anything else in this episode?
Oh, I thought you had something else in this episode.
I don't.
He does mention a thing that I'm not here to be that guy and say whatever, but so as far as Ned knows, the way that his power works is that things can die again, and he's called that out now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying I knew it. I didn't know it until now. But you have been saying she's immortal now and she's magic forever and can't die or whatever.
She can be killed maybe, but she can't die, I don't think.
What is the difference?
One is like if not, no outside forces acted upon you, you'll be here till the sun collapses. And the other one is you could be stabbed in the head and die.
Exactly. But I think you were arguing that like when dangerous things are happening, you
shouldn't
shouldn't even be worried about it.
We've still never seen somebody that was brought, and he has no proof either because he's never.
In theory, no, and it's an interesting thing for them to bring up because they haven't really gotten into it or whatever.
How we could. Well, we couldn't. Those aren't the right kind of bees. I was gonna say we could get a thing where the bees sting you and then don't die, but those aren't stinger bees. Those are honeybees.
I actually think it's interesting because.
Wait a minute, those are honeybees.
So?
Don't honeybees not sting?
Listen, man. I don't know anything about bees.
Oh no, you know what? I'm an idiot.
I think it's an interesting through line though, where it's like yet another thing that like was not an issue that I ever thought about, but you thought about it and brought it up several times, right? So in this first episode of season 2, they chose to like verbally address it as well.
But
right?
how did they say it that was not an opinion, you know?
No, but they like when you have your character say something, it's because the writer wants you to think the thing.
No, I know.
Right?
But again, you're only stating what the character is saying.
Yes, that character could be wrong, but I just feel like people, having watched season 1, might say, well, he can bring people back to life that have like things, going through their heads, so why should I ever be concerned that Chuck's going to die whenever all those things happen and Chuck might die? She can't die. She was brought back magically to life. So then they put a line in there to reinstate the tension whenever something's going to happen to Chuck.
I still don't believe the tension.
Okay.
Because like think about your exact statement from before. If he brought someone back to have a hole in their brain, and then didn't touch them for a minute, what would happen? Would when the minute was over, would they just die? No. I feel
like the magic brings them back. So like this is the problem that I feel like they are choosing. Like I don't know what's true.
Shoddily solve.
Yeah. I don't know what's true on the show in like the world of the science of the show, but I know that I suspect that they recognized it and they chose to call it out so that the audience could have that tension again if they had lost it.
I'm not getting any tension.
I know you're not.
No tension.
But I wanted to bring it up because it's one of those interesting things.
No, it is interesting, but
we'll see what happens. Well, because
it's like the guy who invented the GIF saying it's a GIF. He's an idiot, and he's wrong. You can be wrong about things you create.
Plenty of the plots have hinged on something bad's going to happen to Chuck, including this one. Right? Yeah. But if Chuck is like John Barrowman from Torchwood, then we should never be worried about Chuck, right?
Well, I think
so. It's like a paradox.
I think Chuck didn't move because Chuck didn't want to get stung because you can still feel pain.
Of course.
And that could be as much as an incentive as it needed.
But if Emerson knew that she couldn't die, he would have her go do more dangerous stuff too.
That's true.
It'd be a whole thing.
That's why Emerson can't know.
It could be a whole plot point.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're an uncharted territory, but strictly speaking, as Digby is alive, we know that they are able to live far longer than they're supposed to.
This is why this is so interesting, and it's so strange for them to choose to have it be brought up in this way.
Yeah.
Good night.
All right, guys, that's our thoughts on this episode. Let us know in the comments below what you thought about it. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.
Hello, internets. I just love watching JustDaggers. If you've enjoyed this video as much as I have, click that subscribe button. Peace out, homies.